Slice an apple a little too fast, nick your finger, and a few days later that tiny cut has sealed itself like nothing ever happened. That quiet repair job is life's smallest workers in action. Cells. The basic units of life that build, run, and fix every living thing, from your heartbeat to a leaf unfurling. Stick with me for a few minutes, and you'll be able to explain what cells do, how they stay alive, and how their key parts team up to keep you and every plant around you going. Here's the simple version. A cell is a tiny living compartment with a boundary, stuff inside, and jobs to do, getting energy, using instructions, building parts, and taking out the trash. Most are so small you need a microscope, a magnifying tool to see them. And when many similar cells team up, that's a tissue, like muscle or skin. Picture it as a tiny city with a border, busy streets, and crews for power and cleanup. Start at the edge. The cell membrane is a thin, flexible skin around the cell that controls what gets in or out. Protein channels are doorway-like proteins in that membrane that decide who passes, which is why animal cells can bend and move. Think of a red blood cell squeezing through a narrow capillary, a tiny blood vessel, because its membrane flexes while still controlling traffic. Inside the boundary is cytoplasm, a jelly-like fluid where the cell's work happens, and where tiny parts float so they can bump into the right partners, like the clear jelly in a donut that lets sprinkles move around. Deep inside many cells sits the nucleus, a protected room that holds DNA, the cell's instruction manual, telling it how to grow, repair, and respond. You can think of it as a control center for decisions and directions. Cells with a nucleus are called eukaryotic cells. Your cells are. Cells without a nucleus are prokaryotic, like bacteria, tiny single-celled organisms you can only see with a microscope, but that still carry out all the jobs of life. To build things the cell needs, ribosomes act like protein-making dots. A protein is a working molecule, like the proteins in your saliva that start breaking down food. So when ribosomes crank out proteins, the cell gains tools and structures. Those fresh proteins often head to the Golgi apparatus, a stack of folded membranes that works like a mailroom, modifying, sorting, and shipping proteins to where they're needed inside or out of the cell. Another workshop is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or smooth ER, a maze of membranes that makes lipids, fats used for new membranes, and helps detoxify chemicals, meaning it makes them less harmful. Liver cells have lots of this because they process medicines. Power has to come from somewhere, so mitochondria are the cell's powerhouses. They take food and turn it into usable energy for everything the cell does, which is why you breathe and eat, to feed your mitochondria. If a cell can't get food, it runs out of energy and dies. Plants add another twist. Chloroplasts are green compartments that do photosynthesis, the process of using sunlight to make food. And plant cells also have a rigid cell wall outside the membrane that supports the plant like a sturdy frame. Think of a houseplant by a sunny window turning light into lunch. Trash day matters too. Lysosomes are small sacs filled with enzymes that break down waste and worn-out parts, like taking out the trash so your room doesn't stink. And if a cell can't clear its waste, it gets sick because the junk builds up and gums up the works. Cells also copy themselves by cell division. One cell splits into two, healing that tiny cut and helping you grow. Groups of similar cells make a tissue that can do a bigger job. The gist: cells are life's basic units. The cell membrane controls traffic. The nucleus holds DNA instructions. Ribosomes build proteins. Mitochondria power it all. And in plants, chloroplasts make food and the cell wall adds support. Next time you spot a green leaf or feel your pulse, picture the tiny cells making it happen.